In this video, we will see how to receive an invoice from an existing purchase order. To do that, you will log into the Frevo system and start by selecting the vendor that you need to invoice. So in my example, I'm going to select the procurement test vendor. And as you type in, it will show up the list, so it's easy to select the vendor. Once you select the vendor, the system will show you the list of all the POs that are linked to this purchase order. So in my example, I'll just pull, say, PO number 27. And once I've identified the correct PO to the invoice, I will start entering the invoice details here. Now the invoice number has to exactly match with the vendor document. This is very important so that we do not make duplicate invoice postings and payments. Invoice date again is something that comes from the vendor document. So you look at the invoice and you'll have the information there. Invoice due date, you do not have to enter manually. This is auto calculated based on the payment terms that are set up on the vendor card. Posting date is very important. This is the date that the system will use to post the transaction to the accounting system. So in this case, I'm going to select the posting date as November 23rd. When I select add files, I can choose the files that I need to add. So in my case, I'm going to attach all the invoices that I need to attach relevant to this document. I could also add multiple files, as you can see, and any type of document that you need. Once you attach the documents, you start putting the description. Again, I recommend using the month and the year for ease of general ledger review, and then a brief description of service that is being provided. Once you complete the headers, then you come to the line section here, and then the key thing you need to make sure is you complete the quantity to invoice. Now each of the lines has to be carefully reviewed with the contract and the invoice to make sure you're receiving from the right line. And say this vendor wants 50% received, so I'm going to select 0.5 because my quantity ordered was 0.5. My withholding tax is negative, so I'm going to just directly half of it. Once I complete this information, you want to make sure this invoice total ties to the actual invoice that you have got from the vendor before submitting. Once you have verified all this information, you click on submit. The transaction first gets routed to the requester who will approve the goods and the service receipt. Once that's done, the financial controller will approve the transaction. And only once that's done, it's going to get pushed to NAV.